All right, awesome. So this is X-Ray Vision's Zoom workshop for Monday, February 7th, 2022. Coming to you live from Cuatro Cinco Studios. I just sent out a really quick email to see if anyone wanted to jump on and do a Q&A, get caught up on any information. We did play a really cool sizzle reel for or a promo for the conference in September. I guess I forgot to click some box on there, so apologies. Yeah. So anyways, what questions? I'm not going to play it again. You've tortured you guys enough by playing that over and over again. I don't know. I get excited every time I see it. It looks like fun, but let me know what you guys think. And what questions you guys got? Who's here tonight? Out of the people here tonight, is anyone brand new that's never heard tuned into
I am. This is Jenna. I am super new to cryptocurrency.
Oh, okay.
But Lynn kind of brought me on board to our digital asset study group, and I'm beyond fascinated with it. So I'm also looking to, long-term goals for my financial well-being, and I'm still obviously very new and learning about it, but I also kind of want to know just pretty much everything about it. I've been doing a lot of research and a lot of just reading beyond measure. So he recommended me to, yeah. So I'm here to learn and whatever you guys got. So
that's great. Kenny or Ryan, do you guys want to take a crack at what you guys think about crypto so far? Don't everyone jump in at once.
It definitely gets your attention, and you spend a lot of time, like you said, reading about it, and it's pretty exciting to see and hear what's going on with it.
I know they say too, after you get signed up, not to watch it all the time, but I think we probably watch it at least 100 times a day, even though it doesn't move much.
Yeah, those are both great insights there. I was going to say another thing. One thing that I would tell people is that crypto is so new that the main thing that most people use crypto for is speculation or gambling. The markets are open 24 hours a day, and they're volatile, so they jump 80 or 90% in a day, and they drop 80 or 90% of the day. So there's nowhere else that you can get these kind of swings or trades or gains or losses. And until one specific coin came along a couple of years ago, that really was just a lot of speculation. A lot of people just kind of throwing darts at a board and guessing which coin is going to go up in an insane amount, what's going to fall. And so it's kind of been like an online casino that never closes. And people that like adrenaline junkies and people that are addicted to trading and action, they kind of get sucked into a lot of the crypto sphere. So, and I'll admit, like 8 years ago when I got started, that's where I started out. I started out buying Bitcoin so that I could gamble online. And so I did that for fun when I was learning about Bitcoin a long time ago. And then I learned about the ability to use crypto without going through a bank or a government. And that really piqued my interest. And that's, I went down the rabbit hole and tried to figure out how you could use it for privacy, how you could use it for freedom. And then lately, a lot of people are trying to learn how to use crypto to stay ahead of the inflation curve, because they're printing so many dollar bills. How do you keep up with inflation, right?
You can't, almost, as
It's
far
all,
as
yeah, it's very, very almost impossible to keep up with
Right.
inflation, in my opinion.
right.
So crypto is one of the only places where you can make enough money to not only keep up with inflation, but beat it. But unfortunately, very, very few people know about crypto in general, let alone the crypto that we have found and the crypto that we've been using to get some sense of security and some sense of, I don't know, just trust and faith, if you will. I know that money's not about feelings, but the things that we've seen over the last couple of years and the group of people that we've been hanging out with are very positive. They're very intelligent. They're very motivated. They're, for the most part, they're pretty good people as far as having a heart for other people, wanting to help other people, be charitable. So that's made a huge difference, I think, in cryptocurrency, because before Hex arrived, it was, I would say, pure speculation. I mean, there was a lot of experimental technology and things that people are trying to do with blockchain. They're trying to put things like insurance and escrow and land titles and things like that. They're trying to put that stuff on blockchain so you didn't have to go through governments and central authorities, but no one's really quite pulled off the ability to put the real world into a smart contract and onto a blockchain where you don't have to worry about human beings messing with it. But in the
Right.
future, hopefully we can get to that point. Until then, the one thing that has actually worked amazingly is Hex. So Bitcoin's been out for about 11 or 12 years. And Bitcoin gave people the option to send Bitcoin to each other. And it gave people an option to earn Bitcoin by using your computer power to secure the network, right? And so a lot of people have a hard time wrapping their heads around Bitcoin, but all Bitcoin is a spreadsheet, an Excel spreadsheet that lives on the internet. That's all it is, plain and simple. No one's really used it for anything other than that. And the one thing that was nice about Bitcoin is it did survive somewhat outside of the banks and government up to this point. Currently, most of the hedge funds and big institutional players, Wall Street, they brought billions and billions of dollars into Bitcoin, and the exchanges where you buy Bitcoin own a huge portion of the Bitcoin. So it's kind of been taken over by banks and the powers that be for the most part. And even after 11 or 12 years, there's really no improvements to Bitcoin other than the fact that you can send it to somebody and you can earn it if you have enough power on your computer to help the network. That's really where it started, and that's where it still is. And 12 years in technology is, that's an eon. That's so long in technology for you not to improve.
Right.
But for a long time, Bitcoin was the best we could do. So every 4 years, Bitcoin would spike because of the way that it's given out. And then it would crash for 3 years. And we would sit and watch it for 3 years. And then it would spike on the 4th year, like it just did. And when it went to $66,000 or $69,000, that was its last spike. And now we're seeing the slow, most likely we're going to see it go right back down and crash 85 to 90% and then find some bottom probably around $12,000 to $20,000 per Bitcoin, and it'll probably float there for another 3 years, like it always does. I mean, that's most likely because this pattern has been repeating for the last 11 or 12 years. So, you know, a lot of people are kind of understanding Bitcoin, but most people still don't understand Bitcoin. They've just heard of it. Right. That being said, that brings us to hacks. Like, it's one of the guys that was involved in Bitcoin for a long time. He thought, if we want to get rid of the banks, then we have to offer the services that the banks offer. And so he was a lot of people have tried doing a payment network like Visa or PayPal or Venmo, and those really haven't taken off very well because not everyone has the app on their phone to do that. But the second thing that he saw, the second biggest product outside of checking accounts on banks, was the CD. You're familiar with bank CDs, Jenna?
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. And so basically he just programmed a coin that would pay you just like a CD does, without, you know, a bank or a middleman or a human being that you have to trust to pay you that interest.
Right. Gotcha.
And just like a bank CD, the longer you lock it up, the higher the interest you get paid on it.
Right. What's the lowest time lock frame on a CD on Hex?
1 day.
1 day.
Yeah, you can lock up stuff for 1 day. It doesn't make any sense unless
To do that, right?
I mean, there are people that lock up $20 million for 1 day.
Right.
And there's enough interest in that 1 day to cover the fees and make some money.
Right.
But they're also hoping that the price of Hex doesn't change dramatically in that 1 day too.
Right.
So that doesn't make a lot of sense. And
Right.
the longest that you can lock up for is 5,555 days, which is about 15.2 years.
15 years.
That's the maximum length that you can lock them up for.
Gotcha.
And a lot of hexagons or people involved with Hex are called the hexagons.
Yeah.
That's like a badge of honor, or they'll say I'm a member of the Cuatro Cinco Club. That's why my studios are called the Cuatro Cinco Studios, is because of the 5555. And
Okay.
that really is the way to max out the compound interest. That's the most you can make on it. And who knows what the price of Hex is going to be in 15 years, or the state of the world, or the internet, or anything, right? That's kind of that's a risk to take, just because there's so many unknowns in the next 15 years.
Right. Correct.
However, if you take a portion of your money and lock it up for 15 years, not all of it, then the risk reward is, you know, there's so much upside to compound interest for 15 years that you're willing to risk 5% of your portfolio, or 10, or whatever it is that you're looking at.
So you're getting the interest plus the appreciation.
Yes.
During those times, no matter how long it is,
Right.
you're getting both of those.
That's correct.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. So, and the interest is insane right now, because you only compete for interest with the people that are locked up, that have locked up their coins.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, less than 10% of the coins are locked up. So because you're only competing with 10% of the holders of the coin, you're getting 9 times the regular interest rate.
Gotcha. Okay.
So if you lock up your coins for about a year, you're getting about 10% interest. If you lock up your coins right now for 6 years, you're getting 37% APY.
Okay.
And then if you lock your coins up for 10 to 15 years, you're getting about 60% APY. So basically, because of the law of 72, you're almost doubling your money. You're doubling your money every year in 2 months, basically, or sorry, you're doubling your hex coins every year and 2 months, basically.
Gotcha.
So even if the price of hex falls in half every year, goes down 50% every year, you're still breaking even by making a long-term commitment. And that's something that is, you'll never find that in the legacy financial world, where your industry or the price of your commodity can go down 60% a year and you break even. That's insane.
Yeah.
So even if the price of hex was stuck, today it's around 22 cents. If the price of hex was stuck at 22 cents for the next 15 years, you would still be doubling your money every 1.2 years, or give or take. You know, I mean, it fluctuates, and things will, I think more of the coin's going to get locked up in the future as people see how much more money you can make off interest rather than just holding the coin and buying and selling high and low, you know, just trading the coin.
Trading, day trade. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, a large portion of coins, like 80 to 90%, are in an account that we refer to as the OA. And the OA is the origin address. Basically, when they founded this coin, they gave a copy of all the bonuses and all the penalties and all the originally issued coins. They were all sent to a place called the OA, or the origin address. So, and no one knows who owns this address, but a lot of people believe that it's the founder, Richard Hart, and possibly, you know, some of the developers that helped create it, and possibly some lawyers and accountants and trusts in case, you know, in the event of an untimely death of Richard Hart. He's a pretty smart cookie, so I doubt that if he dies, this money just sits there. I think he's too smart for that. So my guess is that it's in a trust and has somewhat of a board of directors or some governing council or entity that's kind of looking after it. And over the 2 years of Hex being around, this large account that owns the majority of the coins is has acted in our best interest, you know.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's kind of protected us from crashes in the market and other things like that, which is great.
Gotcha. Okay.
I'm not sure how much of the people downstairs you guys can hear screaming and yelling while they're playing video games, but let me know if it's distracting or if it's too loud. Like that.
You're good.
I don't know. I feel like I've gone over a lot in a short amount, and I don't want to get, you know, if you guys have any questions about what I've covered or any other ones, I'm you know, throw them out. But with Jenna being new, it's great to sit down and start fresh and do that. Usually I do this the first 20 or 30 minutes of all of these workshops, but I really didn't know who would show up on short notice. And so I wasn't planning on doing it, but I'm happy to go back to the basics and break it down into, you know, because there's so many terms and phrases in crypto or cryptocurrency that, you know, it's like listening to someone speak another language that you don't speak.
That was one of the first things I did, was look up crypto vocabulary, and I have been studying it like crazy. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, I actually found this great resource online, and was able to print out, like, you know, the most used vocabulary and all of that. So, because I was like, if I can get the vocabulary down, I'm pretty sure I can understand the rest of it.
Well, for sure. And do you have that handy? Is there any?
I
Do you have that
do.
nearby? I would love to hear vocabulary
hold on,
list of
let
crypto,
me-
because there's probably a lot of things that even I just take for granted or don't think about,
We'll go on camera
or that I
here.
don't know. I may not know the right meaning of him.
Let's see. Hey,
Hey,
so it has like pages. There's like 13 pages of vocabulary terms. One of the ones that I was like super curious on was this 51% attack.
Mhm.
And that I had heard other terms as far as like, where did I write this down? Like heavy loads, or like is it Bitcoin? And I think there's some other ones where they are not fully decentralized, where they're still centralized, where they have that ability to lock down when you can withdraw and when you can take out. So I was curious if that was kind of like a similar thing as far as Bitcoin. And
yeah.
I
So
don't.
a 51% attack. I mentioned earlier that you can get rewarded in Bitcoins. You can earn Bitcoins by using your computer's, they call it hashing power, but basically it's your processing power in your graphics card.
Okay.
So they'll buy these really expensive graphics cards that people used to use for playing games with.
Uh-huh.
And back in the day, that's how you could actually mine up to 50 Bitcoin every 10 minutes
Oh,
if you were the
geez.
one solving the problems and keeping and securing the network.
Okay.
And so, I mean, back then, Bitcoin was only like 25 cents or something, or 50
Right.
cents. So like if you got 25 Bitcoin for 50 cents, you were making like 12 bucks. No big deal. I mean,
Right.
nowadays, 5 Bitcoin, that'll buy you a house easy.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And so a 51% attack is where you take over 51% of that network.
Okay.
And if you took over 51% of this network, you could lie. You could lie on that spreadsheet. You could write
Gotcha.
down that coins were wherever you wanted them to be. And because you were the one keeping track of that spreadsheet, you could lie and you could print extra coins. And that's happened twice already to Bitcoin.
Okay.
Where
Okay.
people printed tons of coins and they had to roll back the chain, kind of like hitting the reset button and start again because someone, found a bug, or, I don't think they've been 51% attacked, to where they lost control of it, but people have exploited bugs in their code and
Gotcha.
printed a bunch of extra Bitcoin that weren't supposed to exist.
Right. So the security, as far as like Hex, it's a lot tighter because everybody owns that. Like I don't know. Explain the security part to me as far as.
Yeah, that's a great question. So right now, Hex is running on top of the Ethereum network or the Ethereum not blockchain. So anytime you hear blockchain, just think network.
Network. Okay.
And that's the network that's keeping track of that spreadsheet.
Gotcha.
Right. And so basically, Ethereum allowed people to do smart contracts, which is basically more than send and, because Bitcoin had send and receive kind of.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ethereum said, well, people want to do a lot more. They want to program it. They want to do these different games and contracts. And so they came up with the smart contract. But right now, Ethereum's network is the same as Bitcoin's. So Ethereum has miners or computers that are all competing for that free coin. Gotcha. with their processing power. And so there still is an opportunity for a 51% attack on the Ethereum network or blockchain. It's just not likely. And the reason it's not likely is because if you had that much computer power, you'd make more money just earning the coins.
Right.
Than stealing the coins. Because the second you steal the coins, they all become worthless because now they can't be trusted.
Right.
And there is an insane amount of computer power on both of those networks right now. Like you would have to be like China and have warehouses full of servers next to basically free energy, like a dam or something like that, to
Gotcha.
really compete and take a swing at these networks. So in that way, there's some security there. The good news is that the founder, the guy that made Hex, Richard Hart, we've had a really hard time with the fees that we've been paying Ethereum. So we've been paying these fees to Ethereum because they're keeping track of, the lockups, the interest, the payouts.
Right.
And the fees have gone insane. They were like pennies 2 years ago, and now they're like $1,000. So people that put in some money 2 years ago and went to unlock that money and that interest, they're paying, $400 to $1,000 sometimes to finish their contract or unlock their coins, right? And so because of this, Richard Hart he forked or copied the Ethereum network, and we're making some changes to it to make it fast and cheap again, like Ethereum used to be.
Okay.
And so that's not only good news from the perspective of cost and security, that's also great because all the coins that you have right now on Ethereum are going to you're going to get a copy of all those coins.
Of it, right?
And so that's why a lot of people right now are FOMOing, fear of missing out.
You're right.
They're all greedy, like throwing money into it. Even with these horrible fees, people are still putting money into it, which is because they know in time it's going to be worth it.
Right.
With the price continue to climb, hopefully, and with the copies that you get.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to.
Because you're newer, I know Kenny and Ryan and all these guys have heard Sandy. They've heard these before, but let me throw out some disclaimers. These are some some ideas that will probably be helpful. Number one, I wouldn't invest anything that you're going to need for the next 2 years. If you have a trip coming up or a surgery, or you keep a little money aside for emergencies, keep it there. Don't invest that money. If you need that money for bills, for food, for anything, don't invest it, because that's what we call degenerate gambling.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's one disclaimer I would say. Another disclaimer I would say is when you set up your MetaMask wallet, you're going to want to set it up on the Chrome browser.
Chrome.
And then do the MetaMask extension.
Okay.
And when
I was looking at that.
Yeah, when you set that up, it's going to give you 12 words, which are like your backup phrase.
Those seed phrases.
Yeah, if you ever have to bring that wallet back to life on another computer or phone or something, you need those 12 words. Gotcha. And because we're all lazy, most people take a screenshot of the words, or they take a picture with their cell phone, then you really don't want to do that.
Right. Because
these 12 words are going to be worth millions, if not billions of dollars in the future, just like Bitcoin. When it was like worth less than a penny, no one took it seriously. And a lot of people lost thousands of Bitcoins. Right. So you want to treat these words, write them down by hand. And you want to write down more than one copy and keep them in more than one safe location. So if you kept them in a safe at home and your house burnt down or flooded, you would still have a copy, hopefully at your work or at a trusted relative's house in a safe place, right? Okay. So keep the 12 words safe. Never share them with anybody. Don't take a picture of them. Don't put them in an email. Don't do anything like that, because all those things can get hacked. And if someone knows what they're looking at, now they have access to all your money.
They have access. Yeah. Okay.
Let me see, what were they? I don't even remember something. This stuff could all go to zero. That's something you need to know too. Is it's possible that the government tries to shut down all the exchanges where we get our money on and off. They could shut them down tomorrow, and then the price of all these coins would take a dive because people wouldn't be able to get their money. And then if for some reason someone finds a bug in the Ethereum code or in the hex code that ruins all this money, then your money could go to zero with those two possibilities. So you need to realize that is a possibility. And also, that, the 2-year time frame is like a minimum. But I would tell people, think of this as a 5-year get rich slow plan.
Right. Right.
Because if people have the patience to wait 5 years, I really don't think there's anything they can't achieve financially through Hex. Just Hex, not to mention all the other stuff they're working on right now that is going to come our way, and the copies and
PulseX and
PulseX. Yeah, like those are insane opportunities. Everyone that I talk to about buying Hex at fractions of a penny, and then it went to 50 cents at the high. Like they're like, oh, I wish I could go back. I wish I could, catch that. It's like Pulse and PulseX is probably going to do the same thing in the next 2 to 5 years. So it's almost like getting in a time machine and going back and buying like Apple stock or whatever. It's like the opportunity is like too good to be true.
True.
And all the hexagons that I was around for the last 2 years, they're going crazy about the Pulse and the PulseX because they had that experience with Hex where they got to ride that crazy wave. Another thing that I would tell everybody is that everyone thinks that they're too late. They're like, oh, I missed Hex. I missed the boat. Hex is going to go a lot higher than 22 cents or even 50 cents.
Right.
It's going to, because where in the world can you get 37% APY in 6 years? Where can you get 10% in 1 year?
I have no idea.
I mean,
Yeah.
the CDs back in the 80s were like 10 to 20%, but
Okay.
people don't remember that at the banks. They actually paid you really good interest rates. But now I think you get like 0.5%, maybe 1% on bank CDs. I don't know.
It's
Something pitiful, something that's definitely not keeping up with inflation.
right. I don't even have a savings account because it's not like worth it to me. I just hang on to whatever.
Yeah.
There's
yeah.
not.
And another,
put trust into my savings account as far as getting me anywhere in life, as far as long-term stability, or things like that. But
yeah. And I think that's the other thing I would add is because of the Ethereum fees right now, if you're investing less than $1,000, it's really hard to get a foothold into Hex right now, or even to sacrifice on the Pulse and PulseX coins, because it's, people show up with $500 and it'll cost them $100 in fees just moving the coins,
right,
and then sending them to the sacrifice address. So now you got $400, which, don't get me wrong, like $400 today is going to be an absurd amount of money in 5 years. It's definitely worth doing. However, it's really hard for someone that doesn't believe in the project yet and hasn't experienced trust in the system to just hope that this $500 investment goes somewhere and they're not just going to lose it all. Right. That's like a lot to ask someone new that's getting their feet wet and figuring it out.
Gotcha. Okay.
I don't know, like Kenny, Ryan, Janica, Sandy, do you guys have anything to add? I'm sure I'm missing some very glaringly obvious points that could be made in the beginning of someone's wrapping their head around Hex or Pulse Chain. Okay. Actually, let me check our chat. Nope, still. Let's see. Thank you, Sandy. And you guys are not chirping in yet, so thank you very much. So let's see here. Yeah, what other questions you got now that we're at this point, Jenna?
I really don't have many questions right currently. I just kind of wanted to hear what you guys are talking about, basically. Sure. I feel like I get a pretty good grasp on, well, whatever information you pump out, I'll dig into, is basically what'll happen.
I try. I tell people all the time, look, if you're having trouble sleeping, throw on one of my streams and you will be I will most likely lull you to sleep by yammering on and on about hex. Jenica brought up a really good subject, which is staking. So staking is locking up your hex for the interest, right? And like I said, 15 years is a long time to wait, and one day isn't long enough. And so in the Hexagon community, we have something called laddering, which is just staggering your stakes at different times, right?
Gotcha.
And when I sit down with most people, depending on how old they are and what their goals are, I try to sit down and what I recommend for most people is to keep 10% of it liquid. So keep 10% of it. Don't even lock up 10% of it. Just leave it liquid. And that way, if you need to take some money out, you can without ruining one of your stakes. Also, most people that have left 10% liquid because of the price appreciation, usually they can pull their original investment out and play with house money. Now they don't, they could. Usually they see that and they're like, baby, let it ride. Like, let's just go, right? They've seen their 10% 10x and they're just excited. They're too excited. They don't like to take it out, but they have that opportunity to remove their risk from the investment, right? So like I said, I usually will suggest that people leave 10% liquid and then stake out a portion for 2 years, which is the minimum that I would tell anyone to stake on the Ethereum network, and then 5, 10, and 15. And what this does is it allows this annuity, basically. So if you get to your 2-year mark and the money there is enough to significantly change your life, like let's say that will pay off all your debt, or that will, buy you a car, whatever it is that you're wanting to do with life financially. If that changes your life positively, then I say go ahead, cash out that money and change your life. But let's say that in 2 years, that first 2-year mark only becomes $2,000 or $3,000, and that's not enough to change your life. Well, at that point, you can restake it, but you wouldn't be restaking it for 2 years because now your 5-year stake is in 3 years, right?
Gotcha. Yeah.
And so you can take that 2-year stake and you can restake it for 15 years, all the way at the back of the line, and give it 15 more years to snowball with interest. And you still have your 10% liquid, and you still have another stake coming out in 5 years. Now, when you hit that 5-year stake, you don't need to stake it again for 5 years because you have one at 10. You don't need to stake it for 10 years because you have one at 15, and so on. So you're just continually throwing the fish back in the ocean until they're big enough to you're like, okay, this is enough money, whether it's $1 million, $10 million, whatever you need to retire or take that trip. There's a lot of people paying off their parents' houses right now as a way of, that's what their goal was to pay off their parents' house. Whatever it is that your goal is, whatever gets you motivated. And so that's a staking strategy called laddering. So I just cover that real quick because Janica brought that up, and that's a really good suggestion. So
Awesome.
Hey Sandy, hey Susie, hey everybody. I don't know if Susie's here or not, but so yeah, invite whoever you like. I made the mistake once of putting this link out on Twitter, and it fell into the wrong hands, and that everything went sideways real quick on that Zoom workshop. So I try to keep it private now. And like I said, this is a pretty good basic primer for what's going on. A lot of times it's easier to teach someone brand new to crypto what works and what doesn't work based on our experience than it is to teach someone that already is in crypto and has a whole bunch of crypto, right? Like they've already been buying Dogecoin on their Robinhood app on their phone, right?
Right.
Like they're already like, oh no, this coin's gonna moon, that coin's gonna moon. And it takes so much work to teach them that what they know isn't true before you can start to actually teach them stuff that works. So I really enjoy working with brand new people that know nothing about crypto, because they listen and they follow instructions and they get success much faster than the people that have already been in crypto for a while and don't understand hex or don't see the opportunity.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Do you have any other questions right now, Jenna? I know I put you on the spot, and I really appreciate you, first of all, your patience. Listen to me ramble.
No,
But I
you're
also really
good.
appreciate your questions. So, all right, we have a question regarding when the Pulse chain goes live, and they're saying in the first 24 to 48 hours, we can switch. I'm thinking no one knows. So put a third of it into Pulse, a third of it into PulseX, and a third into Hex. I'm too intimidated to play with the test net. That's a really good question. Like, where do you want to invest money? And unfortunately, a lot of people are trying to figure out what coin to trade for what coin. And there's nothing wrong with if one coin is up really high and another coin crashes, there's nothing wrong with taking a little bit of this coin and buying a little bit of this stuff on sale down here. Like that, I definitely recommend that. But the problem, especially right now with Ethereum, is that you lose so much money in fees. And it's better to have a certain amount of money that you're willing to invest every week or every month or every quarter, and just buy whatever's on sale that week or that day or that, whatever, however often you're doing it, right? And so that way you're doing something that they call dollar cost averaging, and you're getting a good average price on all those coins, Pulse, PulseX, and Hex. And of course your Hex is going to be copied and duplicate. And a lot of us that have been around Hex for a long time have seen a lot of duplications, or what they call forking. And so forking is copying one thing and then splitting off another branch, right? So it's like there's a lot of forks of religion right now. There's a lot of forks of Christianity. There's a lot of forks of other religions out there, where they kind of branched off and did their own thing, but they come from the same root, right? Or root. I don't know how to say root. But yeah, so basically, because of all this stuff going on, what we typically see in Hex and in Ethereum and Bitcoin is that it launches at a certain price, and then it kind of drops down because all these coins are hitting the market all at the same time. So it feels like there's this excess of coins. So the price of the coins drops, right? So you have this, I'm going to turn it this way. This will look better for you guys. So it starts up here, and then it takes a big drop down, and then it kind of grinds down into what I would call a belly. So it kind of finds some basement floor, right? Some support down there. Yeah. And you can kind of see it kind of go sideways, and sometimes it might come up and fall back down and kind of come out to a nice belly, is what I call it. And I think that's what we're going to see with Pulse and Hex, because it's going to be a brand new Hex, and then the old Hex is going to be doubled. So you're going to see this thing that I would call a belly, and it usually happens in the first 6 months of a coin. So when Pulse comes out, you're going to have this Pulse and PulseX and Hex. We're most likely going to see we're probably going to see a drop before they come out, because people are trying to beat each other to the punch. People are trying to grab their cash because they're already anticipating that drop because of the giant supply of coins that's going to hit the market. So a lot of people will try to sell what they think is the top and then go down and buy the bottom. And in crypto, that's called catching a falling knife, because it's really hard to know when the bottom is the bottom. Like I said, you can look for the belly, but even the belly might drop again. And so it's kind of a risky, not that awesome way to get extra coins. It works for a lot of people that have been through this and made and lost money. But like I said, if you're just buying that all the way down and you're buying the belly and you're buying all the way back up, you're going to do awesome. You're going to outsmart all the people trying to get the right timing by just getting your spot and then letting time and price do what it does. Yes. Janica or Sandy says RH or Richard Hart calls them dum-dums. Because Richard Hart has said something really profound, even though it sounds simple. He said the two people that make the most money in crypto are the founders, like him, who founded a coin, and the holders, people that are patient enough to wait years for these cycles and these spikes to grow, right? So, and I apologize, I'm really hearing the people downstairs get really loud playing a video game. So if that's getting distracted, let me know. I can go talk to them, or I can mute my mic and let you guys talk some more. But basically, like I said, yeah, we have this opportunity of this first 6 months to pick up all these coins off the floor for cheap. And if you just do that regularly during the first 6 months, especially, and even during the second 6 months, like the first year, and then you have the patience to let these things appreciate and grow, because you're going to be able to make a dividend off of most of these coins, right? So you're going to get, there's going to be a way to earn free Pulse by putting it to work. There's going to be a way to get free Hex by locking it up, of course. And then, yeah, there's just going to be, it's the golden goose scenario, right? Don't kill the golden goose. A lot of people are going to get so excited when their money grows by 10 times. You know, for every dollar they put in, they got 10 out, and they'll get so excited they won't be able to help themselves. They're going to go to the market, the exchange, and they're going to sell it, and they're going to, move it back into their checking account, and they're going to go on vacation. I mean, I would like to think that they're going to go pay off their credit cards, but usually these people are overrun with emotions. So they're going to go buy a 4-wheeler. They're going to go on vacation. They're going to go, I don't know, whatever. That they usually end up blowing the money. Yeah. So they're $1 million vacation. And I wouldn't say I do private consultations. But you can contact me through my email that I sent this link out to, which is hextips@gmail.com, hextips@gmail.com, if you want to get a hold of me directly. And I do sit down one-on-one still with people. I'm trying to just scale this as big as I can get it, as quick as I can get it. And I'm trying to teach the teachers, right? So if I can teach someone where they're comfortable enough to walk another person through this process, then I consider that a great success, And so, like I said, I love teaching people, especially people that want to continue to spread the message, and So, okay, yeah, you can send Susie my way. But anyways, back to what I was saying about people asking about, where would you put your money? What ratio do you want? When do you want to buy stuff? Hex is awesome because it's going to double. 10% liquid or unlocked is great. And even the unlocked Hex is going to get doubled. And your interest bearing Hex is also going to get doubled. Okay. So those are all great things to own. And you guys will have an amazing opportunity for the first year of most of these coins. You might even think that these coins have gone up way too fast or way too high at the end of the year or in the middle of the year, and you'll be wrong, because we were buying hex when it was 4 zeros and a 2. You know, that was like the bottom of the market. Like when it went really low, it was like 4 zeros and a 2, or 2 10,000ths of a penny or something crazy like that. And we were buying it. And you know what? It went from there to half a penny. And when it went to half a penny, people freaked out and were like, oh, I missed the boat. Oh, that's it. Like, it's too late now, which is insane because it went from half a penny to 54 cents. And now you hear another group of people saying, oh, I missed half a penny to 50 cents. It's over. No, you're going to get the 50 cents to $1, and then you get the $1 to $10. And every time it goes up, people are going to say, I missed the boat. I'm too late. And we haven't even split and got double our coins on 2 networks yet. And people are already saying, oh, I missed the boat. It's too late to get into hex. That's like one of the biggest questions we get asked. Is it too late? It's like, no, it's not too late, because hex is working really well and paying really good APY, right? Aside from going up 10,000x, not 10,000%, it went up, I don't know what's 10,000 plus 2 zeros. It went up 1,000,000% from its low. Crazy. Liquid loans is an interesting topic too. Yeah, there's a couple of projects or products, depending on how they turn out, that are going to be launched on this new network, on the Pulse network, the network that Richard Hart's working on. And one of them is called liquid loans, which would allow you to take the equity or the value inside your stakes and use it as collateral for a loan. They're also working on trying to create a stable coin. So you'll have a coin that's always worth $1, so you can keep some money in that and not worry about it fluctuating up and down violently with the rest of crypto. So liquid loans is a protocol or a program that's looking to launch on top of Pulse, where you can use your Pulse as collateral, the Pulse coins, and then hopefully in the future you could use your hex coins and your PulseX coins too. But you know, that's all speculation for a later day. First of all, we've got to get the network running, and second of all, they've got to make sure, prove that their program can run on top of the new network. And at that point, then you can sit and ask yourself, they're so loud downstairs. You can ask yourself how much of your account you're willing to risk for the reward that they're offering, you know, in terms of dividend and interest that they'd be paying out for either loaning your money as collateral to back up the loans, or if you want to take a loan, you know, that's something we can come to that point. There's also another coin that's going to be given to all the hex stakers, and all the hex stakers are going to get this free coin called Hedron. And Hedron is another coin that is basically going to be a derivative of your stakes. So if you have a bunch of money locked up, they're gonna, and you keep your word and serve all the days of patience waiting for that interest to grow, they're going to give you a token based on how much, you know, how long you've been waiting and how much money you put in. And I don't think that this coin is going to be worth much for the first year or two, because there'll be this insane amount of coins that'll be brought into existence or issued, you know, that are all just going to show up. And so chances are it's not going to be worth, it'll be like hex, it'll be worth fractions of a penny, right? But over time, these coins are going to get more rare, and they're going to be used in different ways. So if you just claim your free coins by locking up hex, you can sit on these coins that you'll pay an ETH fee to claim the coins, but other than that, they're free coins. So if you get these coins for 20 to 50 bucks fee and you sit on them for 5 years, you know, you could very, very well end up with another pile of coins that are worth thousands to millions of dollars simply by taking action and being in the right place at the right time. So I like that a lot. Jenna, does Jenna know that you can get, that you can go to that website, enter your MetaMask account to verify your sacrifice? No, let me ask Jenna. Jenna, what do you know about the Pulse and the PulseX sacrifice so far?
So the PulseX sacrifice is, it's more of kind of, you're more of taking a stand as far as wanting a decentralized way of managing your money. I have so much info right now in my brain.
Information overload.
Yeah, information overload these past couple of weeks. And so I've been looking at the websites and reading on Hex and reading on PulseX and all of that. It just, from what I know about PulseX, it'd be like a completely decentralized place. I don't know how to explain it. It's in my head, but I'm not. So maybe you can explain it into smaller terms for me.
Sure. Trying to like break it down as basically as possible. The Pulse coin is the coin you're going to use on the Pulse network.
Gotcha.
Just like we use the Ethereum coin on the Ethereum network.
Okay.
Okay, so that's a new coin that's going to show up. And back in August, there was something called a sacrifice phase, where you could sacrifice your crypto coins. And basically that meant you're just giving them to somebody. And when you gave someone those coins, it would record the dollar amount of coins that you're sacrificing.
Okay.
So if I sent this sacrifice address $100 of the dollar coin or $100 of Bitcoin, it didn't matter. It would remember my address that I sent it from, and it would note, it would lock down or record that I had sacrificed $100. And at the beginning of the sacrifice phase, we were given 10,000 points for every dollar that we sacrificed.
Okay.
Plus there was a bonus structure on who donated more than others, but that's, you don't need to worry about that. So just remember, we were given 10,000 points for a dollar. And in the future, we're most likely going to be given 1 coin for every point. So in essence, you could say that you were hopefully buying or hoping to buy 10,000 Pulse coins for $1.
Okay.
And then over the time, the price went up for the 10,000 points.
Okay.
Until it was over. And people are still getting a horrible, horrible rate for those 10,000 points, but people are still sacrificing to that address, even though the time limit's up, because they're still trying to get these, you know, this, I hate to call it a pre-sale of a coin, but that's one way to wrap your head around it, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And basically Richard Hart said that you're making a political statement for freedom of speech. If you believe in freedom of speech and freedom from being censored, then you're donating this money to make that political statement, right?
Gotcha.
So on one hand, it is a political statement, but on the other hand, it's also the birth of a new network and a possible way to get these coins, which are worth nothing when you get them, hopefully, for tax purposes. Because if you get something for free, you're not taxed on it.
Right.
And then, of course, if it goes up to a penny or 10 cents, like we're all dancing in the street, right?
Right.
So that's the Pulse coin sacrifice. And it ended at the end of September.
Gotcha.
And we were really hoping that the network would show up like by Halloween, and it didn't, because it's still getting worked on, right?
Gotcha.
But we still have those sacrifice points locked in to get those coins when they come out. And then recently, they realized that there had to be an exchange where you could trade one coin for another, because a lot of coins are traded back and forth because people are trading and gambling all over in crypto. And so in order to facilitate this exchange, they had a sacrifice for the PulseX coin. And just think of Pulse Exchange when you hear PulseX, right?
Okay.
So you got an exchange, and there's a coin that's going to be used in this exchange for getting a better deal or for trading one coin for another. And so Richard Hart came out again and he said, if you guys want to sacrifice and make a political statement that you believe in the freedom of assembly and the freedom of movement, then go ahead and sacrifice to this address over here. So people lost their minds because we're all super excited waiting for the network to come out. And so people were dumping 10 times more coins into the second sacrifice because a lot of people missed the sacrifice back in August.
Gotcha.
Right? So the PulseX sacrifice is going on right now, and it started at $1 for 10,000 points. And right now, let me do a screen share for y'all.
It
Right.
ends on the 21st, right?
Right. This one, yeah, right around the 21st to the 25th, I think. And while I'm looking this up, let me read this. This is from Sandy. And Sandy says she doesn't mind the background noise, which is very kind of you. But she says she's proud of you, Jenna. It really is like learning a new language. She's thrilled to see more women coming aboard. So I wanted to read that out loud and give you a shout out there because I think that's awesome. All right, so let's see if we can go to PulseX.info. Oh, I need to wake up my keyboard's asleep. Let me try this again. Well, there's PulseX lead, and that's where you would go. That's what started this whole question was, does Sandy or does Jenna know where to go to see, to put in her address, like your MetaMask address, and see if, it'll show you where how much money you sacrificed. And it will also show you what rank you're in competing to the other people. So right here, you can see about $1 billion has been sacrificed or thrown into the PulseX thing here. And the number one person sacrificed 47, almost $48 million. It's crazy, right? And then it goes down here to where if you flip it upside down, a ton of people have sacrificed less than $1. And my guess is those were people trying it out. I don't know if a lot of people only had like $1 to send them because the fees are so high, right? But anyways, it'll show you here. It'll show you the address. This is like a MetaMask address or an Ethereum address that they sent from. This is the amount that they sent. This is how much was recorded as their value that they're going to get. Here's a bonus right here. And then here are the points. These are the points or the amount of coins that they're hoping to get when this thing launches. Again, I say hoping because if you're expecting to get it, that would make it a security. And we don't want to mess up. We don't want to mess with the SEC and be taxed and regulated. So we say that we're hoping to be gifted these coins, but we're not expecting it. So this would be the coin amount here. And then, you can look up the pulse and the transaction there. Yeah, see, this one I didn't send any money from, so it says it doesn't see it. But if you did send money, you'd paste your address in here and it would pull up your rank and your address and how much money you sacrificed and how many points you're hoping to get when this launches. So that's PulseX or pulsexlead.com. And then let's go to Pulse. No, not that. Let's go to PulseX.com right here. Right. So this is also keeping a tally of how much money has been sacrificed on the Ethereum network. See, this is under 1 billion and the other one's over 1 billion. But these are all the coins people have sent to the address. And this right here is that curve. You know, here's $1 for 10,000 points that went for about 10 days. And then here's the curve. And you were saying February 21st, volume bonus ends. You're totally right. You nailed it, Jenna. Like, congratulations. Yeah. So February 21st is when the bonus ends, but then it still goes for a few days. And right here is where we saw the OA put in like $13 billion on the last sacrifice. So we have no idea how much money they'll probably sacrifice here. So basically what they're doing is they're letting everyone get their bonus and their points in, you know, the beginning, and then they wait their turn and they come in and they stake a huge claim right here on the ecosystem to, you know, most likely be a benevolent, whale, right? It says, yeah, they are tokens with no value or are not expected to benefit from the work of others. Yeah, so if you have no expectation from benefit of the work of others, then that's one of the ways that they will call something or claim that something is a security, you know. And then this right here, this shows you once you have the money in your MetaMask, you can send it to this address right here. And that's the sacrifice address for PulseX. So you might already know all this already. I don't know. Let's close this out, share here. Okay. So anyways, I don't know. Did you have any questions about that so far, Jenna, or anyone else about PulseX and the sacrifice or anything to that effect?
Hey, Max. So I do have a question about when the new network launches. Because we didn't get in until after the sacrifice had closed for the Pulse network coin.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think is going to be the best way to go about gathering coins?
Yeah.
The Pulse coin.
Yeah, a lot of people right now are sacrificing a ton of money into PulseX, and they're hoping to swap the PulseX for Pulse when you get an opportunity to, right, Ryan? But I think that you're going to be way better off. I mean, I would definitely sacrifice some money if I had it available for the PulseX coin, but that's just so I can get like hopefully a really good deal on it, right? But I think that buying Pulse when it comes out, especially in the first 6 months, is going to be your best way to get a good deal and a bunch of Pulse coins. That's what I'm recommending people try and buy regular amounts of Pulse and PulseX and Hex, you know, whatever is on sale that day, whatever's dropped the furthest, I would buy that the first 6 months. And I think that if you do that during the first 6 months and even the first year, in 4 or 5 years, like I said, you're going to have to fake your death and move to another country. You'll have so much money, in my opinion. Right? Just based on what the coins have done so far in Hex and Ethereum and Bitcoin. Does that make sense? I don't know. Is that good? Do you have a follow-up or?
Yeah. So I have some liquid in Hex, and I did some sacrifice in the PulseX. What is going to be, I mean, to prime my money to go into Pulse, do I need to just keep it in an account as cash at this point, or should I put it into Hex, or should I, what's going to be the mode of transportation to move it from dollars into Pulse without spending a bunch of unnecessary money on fees?
Yeah, unfortunately, the fees are going to get you at least until Pulse Chain is up and running and we can get our money in and out of Pulse, right? So when there's an exchange that you can put your debit card or your checking account information into, and you can buy Pulse and you can sell Pulse right back into that account. Right now, we still have to go through Coinbase or some crappy exchange. We still have to go through Ethereum, which is a piece of crap network right now, right? But I was going to say, if you put your money in USDC or stable coins in your MetaMask wallet right now, that'll protect you from putting it into Ethereum and having the price of Ethereum drop, right? But when they open a bridge or a way for you to move the money from the Ethereum network to the Pulse network, then you'll be able to move something of equal value or close to that value in dollar coins over to the Pulse network and buy Pulse with it. So if you're looking for a place to store your what we call dry powder or money sitting on the sideline to buy things, I think that there's not a big risk in holding a bunch of it in USDC on your MetaMask. That's where I would have it staged right now. Now, if I had $1,000 or more, I would consider taking the hit on the chin, paying some fees, and buying some more Hex. Just because you're getting two for the price of one right now. So it basically makes it Hex 10 cents a piece, give or take, 10 or 11 cents a piece. And if you are patient in the next year or two, I believe it's going to be hitting $1 to $5, if not combined on each chain. So to buy something today at 11 cents, it's going to $1 is insane. And if it's throwing off interest at the same time, that's going to be a really fun ride. I don't know. That's kind of my suggestion in the way that what I would do if I was in that situation. Does that help? Or
Yeah, that's perfect.
okay, and that's really all I can do. Everyone says no financial advice. I'm not blah blah blah. It's like I don't even know if that protects people from lawsuits or whatever. And like I said, crypto right now isn't considered finance yet. They're still trying to figure out whether it's commodity or money or whatever. So, I mean, like I was, and this is something I should have mentioned to Jenna, is that, if you guys lose money, unfortunately, you're going to have to deal with those consequences. And if you guys make money, that's your money. It's not mine. I'm not going to get the consequences of your actions. You guys are. So it's really all up to your own responsibility. I don't know. Do you have anything else to add, or anyone else got any other questions? Sandy says you have to sacrifice in order to swap them the first 24 to 48 hours. The rest is standard exchange. Yeah, there is going to be a time when you can do things for the first couple of days before everything is up and running. But I have no idea what that's going to look like. And some people believe they know what it's going to look like, but I don't know. And so I'm not really planning on trying to time that 24-hour or 48-hour window. If you guys are doing it, then awesome. Let me know how it goes. And then what's the other thing I forgot here? Oh, that was the other thing I was going to bring up, is that if you have one Ethereum coin, then you're not going to get a copy of Ethereum. Your one Ethereum coin is going to be turned into one Pulse coin. And one Pulse coin, even though it's fractions of a penny, is enough to do a bunch of transactions on the new Pulse network because it's going to be cheap, right? So if you are holding one whole Ethereum worth $3,000 or $4,000 today, it's going to be transformed into one coin worth 1/1000th of a penny. So that's not a good deal, right? So if you have extra Ethereum on the sideline that you don't need in the next year or so for fees to unlock a stake, you're better off changing that Ethereum coin into something like Hex or another coin that you know is going to get copied over onto the other chain that's going to have a lot more value than that Pulse coin that's going to be worth thousandths of a penny. Does that help as well? You know, the people downstairs only get quiet when I ask for questions. When we're actually talking about stuff, that's when they get rowdy and crazy. So other than that, does anyone else have anything else they want to talk about?
Okay, so I have one other thing, and it's totally not related to what we just talked about, but
Okay.
it's on the Staker app.
Mhm.
So they've got the highlights towards the bottom, and there's some people do an accounted. What does that do for you, or what does that even mean that they're doing? Do you know?
Okay. So when you lock up your Hex into a stake, and that stake is over, it actually gives you two options. So let me actually see if I can do this on the screen for you guys. So let's do this. So there's a website that most of us use called go.hex.com. There it is. Boom. And if you go here, you can connect your wallet, right? Here's an extension. So you connect the wallet. And then let me see if I can pull this down here. If you go to stake, so you would connect your MetaMask wallet to this website, go.hex.com. And you guys have done this before. You put in your amount of Hex, you put in how long, how many days you want. You can even look it up here on the calendar. If you're looking for the 4th of July and you don't know how many days it is till the 4th of July in 3 years, you can look that up here. And then you hit stake, and this will tell you your shares, which determine your interest and so forth. But down here, this will have your stake listed, right? So it says start, end, progress, chart, yesterday's APY, all of your APY, your principal, your T-shares, your interest and stuff. So over here, there will be a button that says end stake. And when your term is served, let's say it's a 1-year stake and you've waited that year, they'll have two buttons over here. One will say end stake, and the end stake is going to end, your lockup. It's going to mint all of your original Hex and all of your principal. I'm sorry, your principal and your interest. It'll mint all those coins. And then those coins will show up back in your MetaMask wallet as liquid Hex. There will be another button that says good accounting. And good accounting was created for tax purposes. Basically, good accounting, it keeps you from paying a penalty, because if you don't hit good accounting or hit end stake after serving your term, then you pay a principal by not ending the stake or hitting good accounting. And then that penalty is paid back at a rate of 1% a week for 100 weeks, or about 2 years. So if you serve your stake and you never get around to going back to it and taking care of it, it just gets bled back into the community. But if you hit the good accounting basically is almost like hitting a pause button on your stake. So basically it says, hey, I'm here. I know that my stake has ended. And so it stops the penalty from happening, but it also it's a way of ending the stake without taking custody or taking ownership of the coins and the money. So for instance, let's say that you you staked your hex for 11 months, right? And you put the money in, and then you get it out in 11 months. Well, tax wise, if you get a bunch of money in less than a year, you're subject to the short-term capital gains tax, which is much higher than the long-term capital gains tax, which is after a year, right? So let's say, for instance, for tax reasons or any other reason, you don't really want to take custody or ownership of those coins yet for tax reasons or any other reasons, you can click the good accounting and it'll pause it and almost like put it on hold until you're in a more favorable tax position or until you've gone over the 365 days. So that could save you anywhere from 10 to 30% in taxes in some places by waiting another week, another month, another year to take possession of your money. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Sandy says, is there a way to good account and not restake and not pay tax? No, you're going to have to end the stake and mint the coins in order to lock the coins up again in another stake. So, and paying taxes, I mean, that's that's between you and your accountant, depending on, I mean, but the IRS and the government do track a lot of what goes on in places like Coinbase. They track everything that goes on in your checking account. Like you got to be pretty dang sneaky to keep all this stuff under the radar. And eventually, you're going to show up somewhere with $1 million or $10 million, and you're going to have a really good story or explanation of where all that money came from. So that's something you want to sit down and talk to a good lawyer and a good accountant and a good tax strategist, or someone that's going to set up your trust or things like that, and I do know some people that are, doing that. But so Sandy asked, so if I spent $1,000 7 times over the year to buy crypto, but don't have anything to show for it, ... Yeah, it's not investing in crypto that's really usually the big deal. It's getting the money out of crypto is where they're looking for a chance to catch you and get their taxes and things like that. Does that make sense? Because you could simply say, I'm buying $1,000 of Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever, and I'm sending it to this person for a dress. I'm shopping with it online, and this person prefers Bitcoin or crypto, or they give a discount for crypto, or maybe that's the only form of payment that they accept, right? And so you can use crypto to shop with, and there really isn't any tax implication, because if you buy $1,000 of crypto and you send it to someone else at $1,000, you haven't made or lost any money, right? And then he says, she also says to pay a personal loan. So if you're paying a personal loan, there's actually no taxes on loans. So a lot of people that are really wealthy, like Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk, instead of selling a bunch of their stock and being hit with taxes, they'll use their stock as collateral and go get a loan. And then they'll use that loan as an investment on something that'll pay the loan back. And there's no taxes on that. And then they have this asset that is still throwing off income, and then they'll pay taxes on that, but they don't pay taxes or get hit with, selling a bunch of their stock. And they also don't dump the price of their stock by selling a bunch of stock. They just use it like a lot of people use a home equity loan. And that's why Liquid Loans is trying to appeal to a way for people to get their money out of crypto without getting their hand caught, slammed in the cookie jar, right? Or paying a ton of money in taxes there. So anyways, I'm not sure if I can air this. I'm not sure if I can put this up on crypto. My screen share has been not awesome, bartering with crypto is going to be huge. Yes. Can I share the screen with no chat? I thought I was. I don't know if the chat was covering stuff on the screen or not. If you guys are seeing the chat when I share my screen, let me know and I'll get rid of it. But just see everything on the screen. But bartering is cool because like if you can pay someone in crypto and they're not going to sell it, then first of all, you save all of the fees that you would moving your money back into your bank account. Second of all, you're sending the money somewhere where hopefully it won't be sold. So it keeps the price up, right? And then third of all, you know, Uncle Sam estimates the value of bartering, right? Because if you give someone the crypto and they don't claim it on taxes, and I mean, it could be a way to add some privacy to your taxes and to your personal finance. If you're bartering, obviously you've got to trust the person you're sending the coins to, but why would they go out of their way to be taxed on those coins too, right? Unless it was really hard for them to hide, you know, that income. It's just food for thought. So yeah, if you guys can barter for crypto in a way that's not going to be you know, very visible or reported instantly somewhere, then that's a really good use of crypto. So you bet. All right, anything else? We've been going for quite a while. I feel like you guys should all be asleep by now. Like not one of you guys should be conscious.
So you still haven't heard any more updates or any whisperings of dates or
From
any?
him talking.
Say that again. So you're talking about PulseChain coming out?
Yeah, you haven't
Yeah.
heard anything.
We
since-
talked about this on my tech talk. So if you go to X-Ray Vision on YouTube and you look up my last tech talk, I had some insanely smart, much smarter than me people on there that were going over some really awesome information. And that was something that I asked them. I said, how fast can it go? And one of the guys was really optimistic and he thought maybe March, because we have to wait till at least March for the PulseX sacrifice to get over and for everyone's points to be tallied. Right? Excuse me again. And so March is like the soonest it can happen, but he mentioned 4 things that have to happen in order to launch PulseChain. The one was writing down all the sacrifice points and making sure that they're ready to go. The second thing was writing a bot or a program that is going to fix the ratios of all the coins on the exchanges, because the coins on the Ethereum exchange are not going to translate perfectly over to the coins on the Pulse exchange. So there has to be a robot or a program that makes them so they're equal, right? So they got to write the program for that. They got to get the points. And then they're going to have something called a DAO. And a DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization, which is just nerd speak for a coin that you can vote with, right? So people are going to be voting on what they want to see in that exchange and what rewards people will be given. So in other words, if people really want to see a bunch of liquidity or a bunch of one type of coin to show up on that exchange, they can vote with this other coin and say, hey, we think that we should incentivize a big reward on this pair of coins trading back and forth. And in order to do that, they're going to use a DAO, which is basically like a voting system with coins, and a coin that can be used in that reward system. So that's a mouthful, but so basically you got to add up the points. You got to write the robot that fixes the ratios. You got to write the coin and the voting structure for the exchange. And then they want to do a test net version 3. So that'll let people find all the bugs and break things and figure out what needs to be finished, like the finishing touches before it goes live. And because of all those things, I don't think that we're going to see Pulse Chain until June. Really, like end of May, beginning of June, I think is really hopeful. But there are people that think that they're going to pull all this stuff off this month. So when they get the tally points for the PulseX sacrifice at the end of this month, the beginning of May, they'll be ready to rock and roll. But I think that's overly optimistic, you know. So, and then here we go. Will you please research Grid Plus Lattice One hardware wallet? Let me know what you think. I bought one. I'm an affiliate. I think it's awesome. www.gridplus.io. And I think a long time ago, I did actually look. I was asking the people on the Tech Talk about this, and they weren't familiar with it. But I want to pull this open right now. I'm not screen sharing, but yeah. So here's the Grid. A new standard for hardware wallets, Lattice safeguards. I want to click on Lattice. Yeah, so it looks like it's sort of like a tablet. So you have a better screen, which is really nice. It is sold out right now. So the Lattice one is a hardware wallet. So basically you would plug this into your computer and then it would give you an added layer of security or an added layer of encryptions and passwords to protect your coins. And so, yeah, I'm seeing that right now. It looks really cool and easy to use. If you want a hardware wallet, I'm kind of on the fence with hardware wallets. Because I have had a hardware wallet for a long time, but most of the hardware wallets that I've used have been hard to use. And if this one's easy to use, then that's a huge plus. If it adds security to you and it's easy to use, then that's awesome. It does look really cool. I mean, it'd be fun to to play with one of them like in real time and try it. The hardware wallet that I bought back in the day was always trying to update its software, or as it called, its firmware, because it was hardware. And every time I used it, I thought that I lost all my money. So it was nerve-wracking. It was not great. And you get credit card type. Yes, larger screen, credit card for seed phrase. Oh, so there's a card that stores your seed phrase. That's really interesting too. Yeah, I'll have to look more into this, and hopefully I can find someone that trusts me enough to check it out in person. Obviously that's not going to think whatever. And the guys you spoke with the guys in Prague, they'll talk with me on Zoom. Yeah, so maybe I need to reach out to these guys and talk to the rest of the OGs, because the OGs are always pushing stuff like Trezors. Trezor is the name of a hardware wallet or a encrypted USB that holds another layer of security. And yeah, send this stuff to the Gmail, and I can look at it and I can talk to them and see what's going on, because it would be really interesting to find something that's the problem with all this stuff is none of it's user friendly. Even Metamask is not user friendly. You got to go on YouTube. You got to talk to people like me, people that have used it, to be like, okay, I lost this. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to send money. I thought I sent money to the sacrifice, but it's not there. That happens, just, yeah. So the problem with a lot of stuff is just really hard for regular people to use. And if this is easier to use, then that's huge. But like I said, everything in crypto is a big learning curve. And when people are really busy in their regular lives, they're not going to invest the time to learn this new language and learn this new technology unless they think that there is a reward big enough that's worth their time, because time is scarce. That's why I'm honored that all you guys would spend your time with me or take this time to ask questions or learn more stuff, because it's, yeah, time is a scarce and very valuable commodity these days. So I think that's a huge part of what's keeping a lot of people out of crypto, is it requires an investment of time and energy to learn a lot of this stuff. So anything else, guys, before we go? Hi, Melissa. Hi, Ryan.
It's not Melissa, it's Tate.
Tate, how are you doing, buddy?
Good. Hey, sorry I haven't been able to jump on very much. I been super busy with school.
Yeah, I can only imagine. There's always YouTube. I don't think this is going to end up on YouTube, but just because it's just me trying out a lot of stuff and trying to answer these questions. I think that we went over really good information, and I think it's valuable. And I do have this recorded, so if I get the ambition and motivation to go back and edit all this information out that I don't really want to put on YouTube, then I will. But yeah, welcome to the Zoom meeting, and thanks again for everyone showing up.
If it's not a big deal, Max, would you throw your YouTube channel link in the chat?
Oh, of course.
If it's not a big deal, because I'd like to go back and watch some of them, but
yeah. And if you just search X-ray vision with no spaces, then you should be able to.
No worries. I can just do that then.
You can just look up X-ray, but I'll put this on here too, because I try to paste this everywhere on Twitter and stuff so more and more people can find it. And I'm trying to reach, I'm obviously, like here's an instance, this tech talk that we did Sunday on the 11th with these really good guests. It's got about 1,000 views, and it's about 3 hours long, right? And that's not me tooting my horn or saying I'm awesome for getting 1,000 people to view it. That's nothing in the scheme of things with YouTube. But what I'm saying is, for me to sit down with 1,000 people and have a 3-hour conversation, even if I got all those other people in the same room, that's insane. How long would it take me? Well, 3 times the 3,000 hours, right? But instead of spending 3,000 hours sitting down talking to people, I was able to spend 3 hours, which is awesome. I got to learn a lot from these guys. There's the link in the chat right there to my YouTube channel. But yeah, so it's all about what's the most efficient use of your time and your energy. And even though there aren't a lot of people on this, and even though I may not put this on YouTube, if I did put this on YouTube, it's 1,000 people that can sit here and learn. Like Jenna doesn't understand how valuable her questions are at all, because for every person like Jenna that's asking these questions, there's 1,000 people that have the same question and they don't know who to ask it to, or they're afraid to ask it, or or they may not know how to word the question that they're asking as they're learning about this stuff by watching YouTube videos or whatever. And not everyone has a friend like me that has obsessed over this information for years. So even if you're looking for someone in your circle of friends and family for this information, you might not find it. And that's why YouTube is awesome. That's why Zoom is awesome. Twitter's awesome. Facebook can be awesome. LinkedIn, Pinterest. I'm just trying to reach out to as many people as I can and help as many people as I can. And you're a really good example, Tate, because I know that if someone were trying to figure this out, you would try to share as much information with them as you could. And I know Brett has shared a lot of information with a lot of people that we're not going to get it anywhere else, right? So thank you, Jenna, for saying it's valuable to you. I really appreciate trying to offer what I have or any help I can have, because I mean, I spent 8 years, give or take a year, just going down these rabbit holes and learning what works, learning what doesn't work, losing money, making money, trying to figure all this stuff out. And if I can save you 8 years, if you can just listen to my YouTube channels and the YouTube channels of amazing people, like if you go to that tech talk, we had Crypto Coffee and Crypto Coffee 369. I'm not sure, but you can find him on YouTube too. Crypto Coffee does an amazing job of explaining this stuff in English and under easy to understand terms. Crypto Coffee is amazing. Rags to Riches is also on YouTube. I think you have to look up Rags to Riches Squad or Rags to Riches Fam. All their links are inside that one. K4K. Sandy likes K4K. K4K is awesome, and I actually am trying to collaborate with him, get on my channel. He goes deep. Like if you want data, if you want like 3D deep really deep stuff, he is brilliant. He's totally brilliant. K4K is awesome. Rags to Riches is awesome. Crypto Coffee is awesome. In fact, I love it when I'll call someone like yourself, Tate, and I'll say, oh, hey, Tate, did you check out that last, YouTube? And they'll say something like, oh, I've been watching Crypto Coffee's videos later. I'm like, great, that's awesome. He's awesome. Listen to whoever makes sense to you, because there's so many hexagons right now. There's more than 24 hours of stream a day. You can't even listen to all the hex content if you wanted to on YouTube. So find someone that you like, someone that keeps your interest, is entertaining, hopefully, and someone who you understand, and do a deep dive into their videos. If what I'm saying doesn't make sense, find someone that definitely does speak your language. And yeah, I'm just really excited for everyone here and the future, what the future holds, in my humble opinion, which is freedom for each and every person that takes action today. Like 4 or 5 years from now, if you saw the future, you wouldn't believe it. I don't think. It's crazy in a good way. So yeah. And thank you, Kenny B. Appreciate it. And thank you for sending me that email. Yeah, email him my information or whatever. I'd love to talk to them and figure out what's going on, because there's so many things that people need in crypto right now. Number one, they need someone that can explain it to them in simple terms. And number two, they need products and services that help them feel secure and take control of their own money. So it really is a complete evolution and paradigm shift in the way people think. So yeah. Anything else? Any other subjects we can go over, or anything else we can talk about? All right. Well, thanks again for everyone showing up here. Like I said, this may show up on YouTube, but if not, like I said, I have about 10 other workshops where I ramble on about all this stuff and try to break it down as simple as possible, answer other questions people have about PulseX, and things like that. But like I said, another thing that I know it's crazy because you guys are new, and it's not easy to do, but I just would recommend and encourage everybody, go to Vegas in March and go to the meetup there. I mean, it's a lot to take a few days off work. I understand that. And the ticket is about $400 for 3 or 4 days. Or here's another thing. There's a free workshop in Vegas on the 4th and the 5th. I think the 5th is the day of the actual workshop. But if you go down there for free, you can meet a ton of amazing people that are involved in Hex, a lot of hexagons, and you'll just see what an insane community we have in this. I've never seen anything like it in Bitcoin, and I was there for years. I've never seen anything like it in any other coin or community that I've been a part of. I've never seen anyone this excited at church. I've never seen anyone this excited at school, or even in hobbies, where people, they build rocket ships or play D&D and things like that, for sure. So like I said, the free one is March 5th in Vegas, and you can go to freedomtv.info and it's got a calendar and locations and information for that. That one's totally free on the 5th. And then on the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th is a conference where people are going to be talking about all this stuff. And you can walk up to anyone at any of these events and they'll talk to you for 10 hours. They'll answer your questions for 10 hours, any one of them, unless they have the same questions you do. In which case, you too could go find someone like myself that's been around for a while, and we will sit down and answer all these questions. There's so much charity and so much of a giving attitude in Hex that it's really awesome. Yeah, TM Free is also having PulseCon September in Vegas. So yeah, show up in Vegas in March, the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, the 9th is where, and you probably don't even have to buy a ticket if you don't want to go into the event, right? Like you could just hang out by the Excalibur on the 6th through the 9th with the Hexicans and learn everything you ever wanted to know if you got down there. In fact, you would probably have to go to the bathroom or need to eat or get tired before they ran out of the energy to tell you, what's going on. So I don't think either of them are sold out. In fact, the one going on in September is going to be PulseCon. So the one in September is going to be talking a lot about Pulse and all the stuff being built on the Pulse network. And of course, it'll be completely full of Hexicans as well. But that one is September 6th through the 9th. And that one's PulseCon. And those tickets are more expensive, but I believe they include, like you can get just the ticket to the event, but I think most of the tickets that are more expensive include a meal and the hotel and access to the nightclubs and other events that activities people are going to be going to. Let me pull up the chat here one more time here. Yeah, it says it's sold out, isn't it? Cool deal. Like I said, I don't think September's definitely not sold out, and I doubt that the March conference is sold out. But yeah, I will be running around trying to say hi to everybody. My wife's going to be in the background rolling her eyes at how cool I think I am. But she's actually getting her name out there quite a bit with the Hexicans. I've been trying to get her on some streams and stuff because she really is one of the smartest women in crypto, not just because she's married to me and I never shut up, but she's also definitely one of the smartest women I've ever met. Like my wife is really, really smart, and she really understands concepts and is just, I don't know, she's got a great person. Anyone that's met my wife immediately stops talking to me and hanging out with me because she's the better deal to hang out with. So yeah, and thank you. Yeah, we did get to go on a recent vacation thanks to Hex. So I mean, we went down to Florida for our anniversary for the first time in 7 years that we actually went on a vacation without the kids. The last time we went on before that was we went to Anarchapulco, which is not a kid-friendly place. And we went to that one in like 2017 or something like that. So it was awesome to have the time and the freedom to go do a legitimate anniversary trip and hang out together. So that's the kind of freedom that I'm talking about, though. It's freedom of time, freedom of money. Yeah, because she's Craig's daughter. They're a different breed. I married into a cool family, but anyways, like I said, that's where I'm at right now. Is if you guys get to any of these places where you meet crazy Hexicans in person, it'll change the way you think about crypto, and it'll change the way you think about Hex. You'll be so optimistic and excited about Hex once you really meet the people behind it, like myself, that we do stuff like this for free all the time. They sponsored a NASCAR. You can watch a Hex in the NASCAR coming up this next week. That's stupid, right? You have people putting together these workshops for free. that people are going to. And people just get so excited that when they finally get free from their jobs, and that's like me, like I drove truck for 10 years. I drove truck a lot for 10 years. And yeah, Sandy says she might start a stream. Everyone should start a stream because as you said earlier, you know, you want to support more women hexagons. There's no women in crypto. Like 0.001% of crypto is women because they're turned off by all the gambling and craziness that the guys are throwing around. And so if we can get the women that we have in Hex are really cool. They're really special. And we can't get enough women because women listen to women. Women know how to talk to women, and women are smarter and make better financial decisions because a lot of women are security minded. A lot of women are better at thinking things through than guys, honestly. Jenna says she's a firm believer the universe brings me people and opportunities I need, and I appreciate this chance. Do the crypto dive, spark ignited. Thank you very much. Yeah, Susie says freedom, family, fun. And yeah, Sandy should definitely start a stream. And yeah, people are down for ladies streams. When my son told me, my response was, nah, it's all greed and fear. Yeah, no, it really like it's really interesting. He said, no, mom, there's even a guy who is into mental health like you. Yeah. There's actually a crazy amount of psychiatrists in Hex. So you have Maddie Allen, who is addiction specialist therapist. There's Blaze Makes Music, who's from Australia, that's a psychiatrist. There's a crazy dude named Joker that's on Discourse Syndicate, and he's wild, but he's a sociologist. Like there's so many insanely smart people. Like when I hang out with Hexicans, I do not feel like the smartest guy in the room by a mile. I'm just usually asking questions and listening and asking questions and listening. And that's the way it is when, I mean, my tech talk that I was just on, I was so happy to sit there, and I probably talked way too much, but I was there just in awe of the really smart, intelligent things the people around me were putting out. Thank you, Sandy. Sandy says it was great. I'm glad you enjoyed it. So anyways, anyone else want to chime in or throw out a question before we call it? Awesome. Well, I can't thank you guys enough for taking time to hang out with me. I appreciate it. I'm going to try to get these notices out earlier, you know, maybe a day or two earlier, letting you guys know about these Zoom meetings. And I think we'll do a lot more, not only Q&A, but I think that I'll start asking people like you guys, like Kenny and Ryan, the people that have been around and learning about the stuff. You guys know a lot more about Hex than you think you do. And when something happens in your brain when you teach a concept or when you present information, where it really like locks it down in your brain. So yeah. Thank you so much. LOL, Janica. Call the top on the day. Yeah, that's something Richard Hart says a lot. And you know, Richard Hart is he's an acquired taste, but if you guys can listen to Richard Hart, he drops so much geniusness. I'm a big fan of him and I like listening to his streams, but you know, for the longest time, my wife and other females would just say, I can't stand that guy. I can't stand Richard Hart. And so he can be an acquired taste, but if you listen to the other Hexicans like myself, we're repeating what he's saying just in a different voice. So yes, thank you. And Susie, appreciate all you guys very much. And yeah, reach out. I'm going to try to get some more of the local stuff going on Thursday nights, because there are some people that have been asking for help in person, like actually clicking and moving the stuff from one place to another. So Thursday nights, I'm going to try to get back on and do some library meetings. But I cannot encourage you guys enough to go meet other hexagons in the wild, because there's just like an electricity and an excitement that you're not going to get anywhere else, because they're all just on fire, excited about freedom and helping other people. Because I mean, how often do you find something that honestly can help almost everyone? It's very rare you can find something that really is good for everybody. And half the time, you know, the only way to share it is to sell it. And like I said, I don't mind people paying a small fee that pays for just my costs of running my social media and maybe getting an editor so I get more movie videos out and stuff like that. And I don't mind if people don't want to pay, if they just want to bring more people to my channel or share this information, then that's better than money to me. So either one of those, it's awesome, but it's not very often that you get to see people's lives change in front of your eyes, especially in 2 years or less. And in the next 5 years, it's going to be crazy. So yeah, born to be wild. The hexagons are wild. We need more women to settle us down. It's just a bunch of awkward, like there's so many 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds with insane energy and stupid money. We need more normal folks in this community, and I think we're going to get a lot more people. But anyways, cool. Well, I'm going to sign out. Thanks again for hanging out with me, and thanks everyone. Everyone have a great night. And you know, 4 months is going to go by a lot faster than you think. We're going to be talking about Pulse Chain launching. We're going to be talking about coins. We're going to be talking about what you should be buying this week, like what is on sale this week before you know it, and what to put your money in. And then it's going to be a wild ride. So thanks again to everyone for coming. Appreciate it. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.
Thanks, Max.
You bet.